My hair is all flyaway. Hi, it's Susan at Seaside Stitches, and I'm just coming on to say happy Friday sews on a Saturday. It's been a bit of a week, and I often say that, but it's lovely to be with you, and I've had a lovely week actually. I have, where I talk about shopping local, well, I have shopped local but just a little bit further afield than I normally do, and I have bought some lovely quilting cottons for the ByAnnie bags that I'm doing, and I just wanted to share some of those places that I've been to. So I went on Wednesday, I think it's called Quilters Quarters, not quite sure, but it's in Longridge, which is in Lancashire, and just a lovely, what appears to be quite a small shop, and it's like two terraced houses together and knocked into one, and one is all floor to ceiling shelves of quilting cotton on each side, and lots of lovely sewing and knitting goodies all over the place. And then in the other half there have been quilts that have been hung, that have been made by people who either use the social space or the proprietors of the shop. It's a kind of family run thing, and there was some awesome things just around, but there's also quite an expansive range of yarns. So and two people came at different times while I was in there who were joining the Knit and Natter group upstairs, or the Craft and Natter group, or whatever it's called. So it just was such a lovely insight into it, but I wasn't really, didn't have a lot of time. But I did make some purchases. Now, those purchases I will share with you, but the other places I went to, I'm going to keep all those. I'm going to keep all those so that I can just, next week I will do one where I tell you what the fabric is, who the designer is, etc., etc. Yes, it's that big, it's that detailed. So all I'm doing is showing you, these were all quite random, they weren't things that I bought to go with each other. But I just bought 1/2 metre of stripe and another 1/2 metre of stripe, because they're so good at when you're doing the coordinating thing, and if you're doing some bias binding, you get the stripe at an angle, and that can add quite a nice detail. And then, although I think I have a fat quarter of this in any case, but I have not bought it on a number of occasions from Fabrics at Fleetwood, and while I was there I thought I'm going to get this, so I got this from Quilters Quarters. I will look it up and put it on the screen. And I also bought this, which I think some people call blenders, so it's like a blender, or it's not quite a grunge, but it's kind of in the form of a batik, but not on batik base cloth, and that is really pretty. And I have other things that will coordinate with that I bought for. And then I've also got 1 metre of this beautiful, it's Berkatex, and it goes with some of the panels I've already got that have got, like, not quite Siamese cats, but kind of Egyptian kind of cats. But anyway, I'll tell you more about that when I get around to making it, and whether I use the panel or not, I don't know. So those are the things that I got from there, from Longridge. I'm going to carry on with that theme, and then I'll talk about my sewing, because I'm really happy with myself about what I've been sewing. So I'm staying on that theme, and I'll tell you why. I'm quickly going to get back into that, because this week not only are we waiting for a radiator to come on Monday that didn't come last Monday because it was damaged apparently and they didn't send it, we're having our window done finally on Monday, and so that needs to be paid for. And also my washing machine broke at the weekend before last weekend, and we have been dawdling about whether we should see if we should have it mended, or if we empty the filter might that start it off, and all that kind of thing. And then it's a 7-year-old, really kind of bashed about. It's been well used, that washing machine, because we had my mum over a span of 2 years. She came to live with us. She was in respite or care homes for parts of that time, but at other times it was definitely on daily, if not twice daily. And yes, it's looked after us really. And so although we do like to repair and retain, this feels like this is one of those times when we have to exchange it, have it recycled, and we are replacing it. So we've been out this afternoon and we've bought a washing machine. Anyway, so quickly I shall spin on to, I suppose, my next experience. So that was on Wednesday. On the Tuesday we went on a recce, which is just a practice drive to find out where the Millhouse venue was going to be for Christine, who is Gemini Stitches, and she was running sewing social. And if I say we were doing social sewing, that's fine, but if we call the event social sewing, we're pinching someone's trademark who has registered that they are known as the Social Sewing Company, and we are social sewing. And they weren't pleased because they thought that we'd tried to pinch that from them. But anyway, or Christine had, or whatever had. So it was a lovely idea that she'd had, and I hadn't gone to the first two, and I was like that. Would I be okay going to the third, going to one, and would I be too, not exactly nervous, but just feel not quite right somehow? And anyway, we went on the practice run to find it. It was very, very simple from where I live. It took us about an hour and a quarter to almost an hour and a half. But when I went the day after on my own, just knowing fully where I was going. So it was after the rush hour, and I just had a really easy run right there, and it was fantastic. And I was met at the door by someone called Denise, who said, "I watch your channel." So hi Denise, if you're there. I watch your channel, and I have Instagram messaged you to say that I would meet you at the door and help you in with your things. So wasn't that lovely? And obviously, because I'm me, I hadn't even checked any messages then in any case, but that was really nice of her. Yeah, and it's a lovely venue. I'll put a couple of pictures in, and Christine has already shared a little bit of what the day was like, and also that she had us up against two angel wings that are in this venue, that obviously the people who use the venue must go and do their, I can't do the things because some of my fingers don't bend, so I could end up with a rude gesture, so I'll just go, so people standing there and do a selfie wearing the wings. So if you do go over to Christine's video, it's on the thumbnail, but that goes away very quickly. So at the end of the video, she's got us all modelling being in the wings, the angels. So she has named us the Sewing Angels. And so you will see that if you want to look at that. I haven't got those pictures. I think Naughty Stephanie took them. And yes, so that's right. That's that. And there's a group photograph of us, and I really did enjoy that. But Denise also said she's from Southport, and while we were talking, someone admired this bag that I'd taken, the one that I've made from scraps. I just joined them together randomly. They were scraps from a dress that I've made. I didn't make a patchwork, like a proper patchwork thing. They were just manhandled and joined together and made into this, and then added as if they were fabric to the normal pattern of the open wide, and it's called that because it opens wide. But I got some compliments about that because I'd put my sewing machine feet in there, and the two projects that I was taking if I decided to have an easier time and not get too into trying to sew a dress together. So I was getting compliments about that and explaining about the bags that I do, but I'm looking for other different quilt shops. And so Denise said, there are two in Southport that I am aware of, and one is called Quilt and Craft, and one is called Sew Crafty, S-E-W Crafty. And so, lo and behold, on Thursday, Alan and I, was it Friday? Whatever day was yesterday. Oh no, because the sewing social wasn't on Wednesday, it was on Thursday. Yes, right, okay. So it's going to be on Wednesday in future again, but it was moved to a Thursday. So yes, on Wednesday I went to this place, Quilting Quarters, and on Thursday I went to the Sewing Social, and on Friday Alan and I had a little trip out to Southport, which we really love Southport. And she said she would message me with the directions, but they hadn't arrived, and I just put them in. I don't use Google. I would call it EcoVer, and that's my washing up liquid. It's Eco something, and it's not Ecotricity. Gosh, I use it every day, several times. It'll come to me, and I write it down here. But anyway, it's a search engine, and after so many searches, they plant trees. So they plant a tree, and they have a fully carbon neutral setup, and all their offices. It's just it's really good to look into, and I found out about it from my grandson, who was doing some kind of environmental issue kind of program in his first year at school, and the teacher was spot on with all sort of engaging with issues around the environment. And so he came home and mentioned it, and I thought, I'm sure someone else has told me about that. So I looked it up, and that's what I've been on since, I don't know, for at least 4 years anyway. So yes, so I was just going to say, so I googled it. So I didn't, I eco somethinged it. It's so ridiculous, I can't remember anything. Anyway, so I went on there, and I found the directions to the place, Craft and Quilt, and we turned up there, and we went in, and what an Aladdin's cave. I was overwhelmed, really. I was just too overwhelmed, and also it's really kind of random, and I would use the word eccentric. It was eccentrically set out. It's eccentric in every way you could think of, except that they were placed in, they were on boats, and they were on shelves, and they were colour coordinated, but it just had a very random feel to it. But it was just like, what? And there's another room here, and there's another room here. Yes. So, and then yes. So that's that. And I did buy some purchases from there, and they were, well, eccentric as in you buy it in yards, not in metres. And yes, and things that, I don't know, stuff that I'd never seen before, and just lovely. It was eccentric. It was fabulous. But I was a bit kind of like, I don't know where to start with this. Yeah. So anyway, so I bought a couple of things there, and then we went for some lunch in Southport itself. It was just on the way into Southport, I don't know, about half a mile from the centre. We went in and had some lunch, had a little mooch about because it wasn't raining for a change, and then we went off to look for this other one. And I went in, and I was looking on the shelves and thinking, oh my God, now that was a pristine. I don't mean the other was dirty. I mean, this was set out professionally pristine and curated in just such a beautiful way. And they'd already made fat quarters into gifts and put them in little plastic packaging, and it was beautiful, and loads of stuff on the shelves. Again, floor to ceiling, three rows of bolts of fabrics on both sides, and then again yarn at the bottom, and then I'm just sort of like, I have no idea what to get from here, because I thought if I could find some of the fabrics that I've been working with, I love Timeless Treasures, then I know what I can that means coordinate them with. I want things that will coordinate, and that once I see them, I'll see other different coordinating things. And I didn't see any Timeless Treasures. They had Benatex, they had, I never know whether to say Makoa or Makawa or Makawa, but Makawa. It's like makeover, but there's a W instead of the V. So I've no idea how you say it, but they had that, they had those, and all sorts of different things, different makes, and anyway, it doesn't really matter. But again, I was blown away, and I was just kind of, well, I could do with some of that, but I've already bought 2 stripe things the other day. What else would I like? And I was just like this and enjoying the beautiful colours of it, and someone said hi, and it was Denise. And so she didn't know I was going that day, and I hadn't conveyed that to her, and we had a little chat in the shop. It was just really a huge coincidence, really. It was just, but it was lovely. So yes, so I did buy some things from there, because they also had a scrap bin. Yes, so I'll show you those, I think, next Friday when I get myself a bit more organised. So that's that, and then I'm just going to lean over and get to where I got last Sunday. So I had shown you on my last video that I'd got these, all the pieces were ready to be put together, to be built into the bag, make it three-dimensional. So as you can see, this is really quite scruffy looking, but it's just all the edges. And so I have got that into the three-dimensional shape it's meant to be. So that's the one it's got, it's called the In Control, ByAnnie In Control, and it has the dividers. So you've got the knot joint at the bottom so that you can put like a beaker, I don't know why I'm saying beaker. But anyway, you can put a cylindrical thing in there and stand things in them. And you can also, it doesn't matter, so they're not pockets that hang out and are fixed at the bottom. So it doesn't matter. But anyway, so that's the basic In Control. And then all it's requiring now is the binding that goes from here, around here, over here, down there, up there, down there, and joins on here. So anyway, so I've done the actual joining together bit, which is the hardest bit physically for me, because you're rolling about with the edges and trying to do a 1/4 inch seam and trying to do it upside down, because you've got the curve on the bed of the machine and you've got all this to play with, and you don't want any puckers or anything. So anyway, so I've got that far with that one. And they have a zip pocket on one side, and because it's a quilt sandwich, there's no raw edges anywhere, and it's whatever. And you've got a slip pocket. And then I did the second one that I'd started. Now this has got clips on, I'll explain why. Well, I'll explain why it's only got a few clips on as well. So this is the same. I've got to the same position again. So I kind of made them and ended up making them like kits. So they were all the components were ready to be joined together with the front, the back and the side strip, that's what it's called. And then there is a perceived wisdom in, so that's got its pockets. It's bellowed dividers. I love that phrase. And it's zip pocket. Oh, that's handy, because I've just realised I haven't sewn that down, so I need to take that bit away and sew that down, because otherwise I've not got a zip pocket at all. Because on the double zip gear bag, you do one where you create the pocket, but also you have a slip pocket behind the zip pocket. Yes, marvellous. So what am I doing? Oh, I'm telling you. So there is a perceived wisdom if you're in the ByAnnie makers group. People struggle with the binding quite a bit because you're dealing with a lot of layers. You've got to get it straight, an accurate 1/4 inch seam on one side of it, on the first side as you put it on, and then you have to pull it over, and as you cover the seam, as you cover the fabric, the construction, as you cover all these layers, you need it to come out exactly on the other side where you want it. So it's all a bit fiddly, but what people have discovered is if they leave their bag clipped, the edges clipped overnight, and it looks like this, because this is my third one, and this one is the catch-all caddy, and this one has the three, well, because this one is the wider one, this one has 3 pockets at I do it with the front. So 3 slip pockets at the front. Your handles are, you've got stabilizers down there so that your handles don't come off. At the same points you've got your 3 dividers where they meet with those pocket attachments. Your divider seam is there, and you have 2 big dividers at the back, and so 2 pockets at the back. You can have your back and your front whichever way around you want it, it really doesn't matter. You can decide whether you want 3 pockets at the front or 3 pockets at the back. So this one has been attached, but this side is still waiting to be attached. Oh, but before I went to the, am I right in that? Yes. And that was ready for me to do next. But before I went to the sewing social, I realised I had no pins, or none to speak of, because all my binding is ready and that is pinned. I'll explain that in a minute. And I had no clips because they were on this one and this one. This one waiting for to be bound and this one waiting to be joined. So anyway, that really is just bringing you up to date on what sewing I did, because when I spoke to you last, I think they were just in pieces, ready to be constructed into the big 3-dimensional thing. And then on the Sunday and the Monday, I kind of got cracking on them, and don't know if it was the Sunday or the... On one of those days, I could not face doing the second lot of the handles. They're not difficult, but it's just that if you're not in tune with getting that cross on and manoeuvring about, excuse me, around this little rectangular ring, we call it a ring but it's a rectangle, your connection, your hardware, then you can just end up feeling really deflated because you just can't get it right. You don't want to keep on doing it and whatever. So I just became sensible and walked away from it, and I was so pleased that I just didn't do any of that day. I did other things. I can't remember what I did, but I did do other things. Oh, I prepared my binding, so I'll be back in a minute. But you won't know I've gone. So 2 of the bags have pink, shocking pink, as my sister would call it, frightening pink she would call it, when she was little. So 2 of the bags, both the In Control, have the pink. Now Annie Unrain has you prepare your binding by folding it in half, not ironing it, so that you've got some flexibility if you need to move it about as you're manoeuvring it round the bends and up the sides and across the top and all that kind of thing. And so she prefers you to prepare it ready so that it is nicely pinned and you can then set off and go around where you need to go with it, and you have some control. So I have quite a lot of that it's prepared in there because I'm doing 2, and I have some more for another project. And the blue, the turquoise, is also ready as well. So I'm sorry I'm shouting at you, but I'm quite excited today. And while I was at the doodah, whatever it's called, sewing social, I took some patterns that I didn't want, that a lot of them had come in sewing magazines, but quite a lot of them. And this is also one from a sewing magazine, but this is one I picked up off the swaps table, and I have one similar to this but not quite as, I don't think it shows it, it's got the thing I like about the Yasmin, where it's got that waistband thing and a point. I don't know if you can see it, it might blare out. Anyway, so I picked that one up, and I have looked at this over and over, and I nearly bought the magazine the last couple of months ago because it had that one with it. Now I think I'm more or less certain that I would never wear it because of that short sleeve. But I do like it. I like the idea of it, and I thought I may do it and I could just wear it with a shrug, couldn't I? I just don't like my arms out. But also I hadn't realised it's got straps, so I could wear it over a little t-shirt. So I'm really keen on having a go at that, but I'm not rushing with it. So I'm so pleased to have found it. And I also picked up a couple of pieces of fabric there. I haven't got them up here with me, but I'll show you them another time. But what I took with me was my other piece of fabric. Well, this was all cut out. This is just the extra fabric. It's not extra. It's either for the frills, a frill, and needs to be joined together. But it's what I bought from Andrea at the Pink Door. I bought the first lot from her, I don't know, a couple of years ago, because I used it for the first So Frugal, the Frugal Frocks, which I think was 2021. And I made my frock out of this fabric, and it's organic French cotton, I'm going to say organic cotton French terry, but organic French cotton terry, I don't know what to call it. It's organic cotton French terry, and it's really lovely, and I always feel joy when I wear the other one, but the other one was just a plain kind of shift dress kind of thing. But I did put my usual sleeves in, which are the S8875 kind of bohemian gathered sleeve into, oh, this is it. What am I talking about? This is the S8875, which I very rarely have on when I say this is a sleeve from the S8875. Yes, except that it's meant to be gathered into elastic, and this is in a cuff from the Harper cardigan. I didn't get a lot done because it was just so lovely, and I had a Shirley at the side of me who was making some cushion covers, and she has now learnt to say no when somebody says, oh, could you just run me up some cushion covers? So that was a positive, and that wasn't my input, that was a few of us. She was just so lovely, and quite new to sewing, and it was just really nice to have a bit of interaction. And one of the things why I didn't do very much was I had taken my walking foot, because 2 pieces of French terry together, I know that I usually use it, and I started off by not using it, just to put the binding on the back of the neck, and it just kept shifting, and I kept having to unpick bits of it, and then I just thought, just put that on. And actually, but there had been kind of walks to the swaps table and chats about fabric and taking photographs of each other and just getting to know each other generally. It was lovely, and the things that other people were making, I was fascinated, because Anne across from me was making, I've already forgotten about it and I ordered it last night, Ellie and Mac. It's something, it's not ordinary, it doesn't say ordinary, but it kind of means that. Hourglass. It's the hourglass dress. Then hourglass. Again, I wasn't going to do much editing. I'll find out what it is and I'll put it at the bottom. Anyway, it's about an hourglass, but it was just a really nice, just kind of skimmy fitted dress, but it has panels at the side that you can make as a colour block item, and I think the panel becomes a pocket, or the pocket is within that panel bit. You know what I mean? The opening then becomes a pockets, and it just looked lovely. And I don't know what her fabric was, but I'm thinking a jersey kind of, well, something like this really. Anyway, so that was lovely, and I can't remember if there's a waist bit as well, but I think Janet, I think she's called Janet. Excuse me, Janet, if it's not. The one who was sat next to Anne, who also runs a sewing social. Pendle Sewing Social, I think it's called Pendle Sewing Social, and yes, they both go to that, and somewhere near Barnoldswick, I don't know. So we had 2 people from Darwin, someone from Barnoldswick, myself from Blackpool, Christine from Bolton, Shirley from Blackburn, Denise from Southport, and Claire, who came, well, she'd sent her sewing machine for a spa day at Lord's, the sewing machine specialist who must have been servicing it for her, and she'd put on, managed to get it. She has a name for her, I don't know what a sewing machine's called, but that she got her now back from her spa day. I just thought that was quite cute. So she came and didn't have a machine with her. I don't know what region she was from, what area she was from, but she was doing some drawing a pattern for a free motion sewing that she was going to be doing, and also some hand embroidery. So that just looked, well, I didn't see her doing it. I saw from a distance that she was hand sewing, but I didn't get to see what she was sewing. Yeah, so that's that, and it's just a lovely space, and there's a big cutting out table, and I took a little bit of footage with Christine trying to cut out while I was staring at her and talking about what the view was from the window. Christine's finally managing to get to do something because we keep chatting. Just looking at the outlook as well, look how wonderful it is, this place. Fantastic. So it was just a lovely day, and I was so grateful. I'm so grateful to Christine, and you know I am, Christine, because I've told you, for setting it up. And I was so brave. I was so pleased with myself for being brave enough not to be an idiot and just go, and I did. And I think the act of knowing exactly where it was by doing the recce, I didn't have any nerves whatsoever about the journey or what it would be like, because it was partly, some of the issues are, will I get there on time, will it be what, oh no, even in the middle of the night I was like, should it not have been Wednesday, have I missed it? You know, you get, how ridiculous are you, am I? Okay, so I'm going to leave it there, and thanks ever so much for being there. I hope you are there. I hope there's somebody there. And thank you if you have subscribed. Thank you if you just watch my videos and haven't subscribed. It's lovely if you do subscribe. And I've got 950 subscribers. So thank you if you have. But thank you for watching even if you haven't. Whatever you want is best for you, is best for you. But I do like it if you give a thumbs up, because that helps YouTube know that this is a video that is worth keep putting out or promoting or putting in people's, what do you call it, lists? I don't know. And I love a comment. And yes, and I will get back to people who've commented as soon as I can. So I've been doing this 3 years. It's around the time of my 3rd year anniversary. Vlogging. Ooh, I just put a little one up about my mum and the teddy bear. And this is Harold. And this is Harold. And my mum liked Harold because my dad was called Harold, and just after my dad died we bought her this, and she really took a shine to it when we took her to IKEA. And that's my first video. It's only about 6 minutes, and it also relates to how she bought me my first sewing machine. And she bought it for me for my 18th. I'd been using hers, but she bought it for my 18th, and she got it on HP, and it was paid for on my 21st birthday. So that's kind of in my first video, and then I go on about the stuff I've not done and what I should be doing and all that. So we all start somewhere. And now I've got 950 subscribers. Okay, so I've really enjoyed speaking to you today, and I look forward to showing you a little bit more of my fabrics. I'm going to leave you now, and I'll see you soon. Susan at Seaside Stitches signing off from #Friday Sews. Thank you ever so much, Jen, for setting up Friday Sews. And some people are doing some little tweaks on the Friday Sew format, and you'll find out about that, but I'm not one of them. Okay, bye for now.